Hi everybody, it's Lou, and I thought I would do a Q&A today, given that I asked some questions on my Instagram page, which is at @1LouFederer, as well as on here. So I shall be answering a few questions that I've received over the last few days. If you're interested in things relating to grad school in general, how I met my husband, and just pretty much a couple shades of grey in between. Okay, so SHM1617_D asks, where do you get the stamina to be so productive despite having such a hard time mentally? Maybe people assume that I have better stamina than I really do. I think the truth is that my approach to my PhD and just productivity in general these days isn't so much about endurance as it used to be. I do consider myself a recovered workaholic, and over the last few years I have purposefully developed strategies to overcome burnout and to not get myself in a position where I get burnt out. I basically have a policy which I don't hold to kind of categorically. I'm a sort of particularist about this, but I basically only really work in the mornings, and that pretty much goes for both my proofreading business and my PhD scholarship. So I tend to get up super early before I've even really done anything, like not even do my teeth, just get up and sort of robotically come to this desk, open my laptop on the document I'm working on, and literally just start work uninterrupted for about, oh goodness, it could be between 4 and 5 hours, and that will be my work done for the day. So it's a kind of time sensitive anti-burnout strategy, so it's clearly not the Pomodoro technique. It's more of a beef tomato technique where I have a very fat chunk of productivity in the morning, which is made bearable by the fact that I get a huge break for the second part of the day. To be honest with you, I don't really take days off unless I've got something kind of, you know, an occasion happening on a particular day. So I will do this regardless of whether it's a weekday or a weekend. And I think the truth is that for quite a number of years now I've really not observed much of a distinction between weekdays and weekends as far as my productivity, work, etc. is concerned. Even though you may be having a hard time mentally, perhaps even especially if you're having a hard time mentally, moving away from a mindset of having to have a lot of stamina, it's really better, and I've found it vastly better for me mentally, to really just do smaller chunks of work. So not conceiving of an entire day as an opportunity to work, but really just attacking the work in a smaller window and having that time be the time for the greatest creative strain of the entire day. Obviously, if thoughts come to you later in the day and you want to write them up or you want to dictaphone them, then that's obviously perfectly fine. It's not about not letting yourself work if you have that inspiration, but it's really burnout prevention strategy that tosses the concept of stamina into the ether. Okay, next question. Who doesn't love goats? That's clearly spam. Okay, psych.fit asks, when does the self-doubt ever stop? Whew. I don't think the self-doubt ever completely stops, and I think that if you are a good, honest person, then you're bound to have reflexive thoughts of a kind, is this work really good enough? Should I really be here? I think it's really just about how you let those thoughts affect you. If your self-doubtful thoughts are stopping you from doing things, or they put an end to your spontaneity or your ability to talk to people or to go to supervisions, then clearly it's a problem. There is a healthy kind of self-doubt, which is just sort of pure humility. It's knowing that you don't know as much as other people might. So it's a kind of Socratic ignorance, which is a virtue, really. But I also think it's important to take stock of how much you do know. One thing that I've been told, although I've not gone and practiced this, is that if you feel like an imposter and you feel like you shouldn't be here and you don't know enough and everyone else knows so much more than you, then one thing that's really good to combat those kinds of thoughts is to teach. And by teaching, you will pretty much straight away realise that you're pretty much an expert on your topic, and it's really just when you decontextualise yourself and you become very susceptible to your imagination. You're imagining that everybody else knows so much more than you and has their shit together. If you actually put yourself in concrete situations where you clearly do know what you're talking about, that will give you the impression you need of your own capabilities, which should hopefully promote confidence in yourself. I can't really say that I've done those things particularly, because I'm actually quite a pariah within my own department. I don't get involved in things particularly. I haven't taught. These things are recommendations that I have had personally from members of the faculty in Cambridge for feeling less like an imposter, although I can't claim to have put these into practice. How did you meet your husband? I met my husband via Twitter. If I remember rightly, I had tweeted, "If you're not the kind of person who necks the dregs of a tube of Pringles, you're not dating material." He was the first person to like it, which was, I thought, a pretext enough to get talking to this person. C. Sandisks asks, how is Cambridge different from Oxford? If you don't know, I have been to Oxford and Cambridge. I did a one-year master's in ancient philosophy at Oxford, and I am in my second year at Cambridge doing my PhD. So altogether I've got about 3 years of experience. I think I should just say I personally wasn't the biggest fan of Oxford. My first experiences of Oxford, actual experiences rather than a sort of romanticised vision I had growing up, were pretty poor, particularly within the philosophy faculty at Oxford. I think there's one story that I can tell that really sums up part of the mentality going on in Oxford. For the offer holders day, when I was going to do my master's at Oxford, basically there came a point in the day's events where we were all in a room together, everybody who held an offer to enter the Faculty of Philosophy that coming academic year, and they basically said, now the men will go to do a tour of the library while the women will have tea and cake. The women, myself included, weren't even given the option of a library tour. Just wasn't in the schedule for the women students. What it says about Oxford philosophy is that it's completely myopic to the plight of women students in philosophy, and that is really just one tiny expression of far greater issues within Oxford University, which I am so thankful I haven't seen reproduced in Cambridge. Hey everybody, sorry, my camera just cut out because I had been talking for too long. I will do a part 2 if I haven't answered your question in this video. We'll answer it in the next one, so stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.